everybody! How is everyone doing today?
Personally, I am feeling like I wanna, I don't know, rank and review all the MCU movies. Why? Why not? But also for a few reasons. I basically grew up with all these movies, so they all, well, most have a special place in my heart. So this is not me shitting on the superhero genre. Trust me, like, I spent all my childhood obsessed with these movies. I could never. This is just me shitting on these movies out of the love of my heart. A lot of these are inherently shit anyway, so it just makes my job easier.
My God-given duty to rank and review these movies for you.
I was always more of a DC fan. I'm putting that lightly. I was obsessed. Like, I can't even get into it. I would stay up all night just under the covers with a laptop, just going through Wikipedia articles and entries of all the characters. Like, I'm not playing around here. Growing up being a DC fan was my biggest trauma. The process of watching a really good trailer that gets you like hyped, only to watch a movie that leaves you like, oh. And then you spend the next few years in denial, and then you come to terms with the fact that maybe superhero movies aren't all that life has to offer, and maybe your dad leaving wasn't the worst thing that could happen to you. I took to rewatching all these movies with a critical, definitive lens, because if I have to watch Thor 2 ever again, I will chop my limbs off. I'm not gonna go full critical about it, more that I'm just gonna discuss what I like and not like and what I pointed out and all that. Also, spoiler warning, because I will go into heavy detail about these movies, so don't blame me if I spoil the f***ing Avengers for you. I won't spoil anything from movies that are out of what I'm talking about, so if, let's say, you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, which, if you haven't, what the f*** are you doing? How are you even alive? I won't be spoiling or talking about it, so go make a cup of tea, watch this video in full, like, subscribe, share, comment, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, letterboxd, Spotify, LinkedIn, sending money on Cash App. Go watch that movie and come back around part 57 where I talk about it. That's if you give a f*** about spoilers. If you don't, then you know what? Bye. Anyways, there is one movie that I will exclude, and that is The Incredible Hulk, because one movie in, I was ready to take any shortcut I could find. It's kind of pointless. I've seen it once, and I'm sure the world will be fine without my commentary on it. Going into this, there were only 4 movies that I hadn't fully seen, which are the first 2 Captain Americas, the second Ant-Man, and Black Widow. First Captain America, literally no one watched this movie out of their own free will. Have you seen the posters? Like, I'm sure only people who had like military or police faces growing up watched this movie. That said, the second Captain America, I don't have an excuse for this one. I'm so sorry. I'm just lazy when it comes to action movies, and I sincerely apologize. I will never let it happen again. I'm the last Ant-Man. At this point, I just really grew out of my phase of like superhero movie obsession, so I didn't really care about it. Sorry. Black Widow, never got around to it. Maybe the fact that it came out after the character died. Oop. Spoiler. Now, before I get into this, I feel obligated to share my journey with you. So basically, I rewatched all these movies around December, January, when No Way Home came out. So this is, what, a year ago? Yeah, the nostalgia was real. I wrote the script in January, only to end up not filming it till March. I filmed part 1, 2, and 3 together. Originally, there were only 3 parts. I don't know how many there are right now. Honestly, I don't even expect to put this up, so whatever. And then I procrastinated for like 2 months, barely edited half of it, only to end up deleting all of it because it had been 2 months at that point since I filmed it, and I hated the way I looked and acted, just the usual 2-month shift. So I, persistent as I am, refilmed only to repeat the same exact pattern and not edit the footage, only to get to the point where I couldn't watch the footage anymore without like breaking out into hives and gagging. And here I am again. This experience has been extremely grueling and should not have taken as long as it did, but without further ado, hi, my name's Tony Stark, and I'm an aspiring stand-up comedian. So crime. What about it? There was an explosion in the city this morning. Turns out my wife left the oven on for too long. Shouldn't you be out there saving people? Life's been tough. I got captured by some gang, and they forced me to make a bomb. Make the bomb, or I will kill you. Okay. While I was making the bomb, I was practicing my set with my cellmate, and he said, "Now you better make me a bomb, or else I'm gonna destroy you." And I said, "Don't worry. My wife is making bread tonight. She'll get the job done for you." Turns out my cellmate was making a suit of armor the entire time, which is actually a pretty smart idea. I'm gonna write that one for next time. How's this? The other day, I walked in on my cellmate on top of an Iron Man. And I said, "What are you, my wife?" So I escaped and I came back home. Turns out my old boss wanted to kill me. So I decided to hide in the suit of armor my cellmate made. And I accidentally pressed a button that ended up killing him. Now everybody thinks I'm a superhero. I guess I can implement that in my bit. I still haven't figured out what to call myself though. Armor Man? Ex-husband?
You literally said Iron Man earlier.
Iron Man. Oh, that's good. Let me write that down. I remember watching this movie and The Incredible Hulk around the time they came out. That's right, I've been here for a while. I'm gonna gatekeep the MCU. What do you know about superhero movies anyways? I watched on one of those cute Panasonic TVs that 90s kids hold on to for like dear life as some sort of personality trait. I spent my entire childhood on that TV. I played video games on it, okay? Barely remembered it. Years later, I rewatched it around when I was 8 or 9, and I remember liking it. I wasn't crazy about it, but I didn't hate it, because that's the normal scale of how much you like something. You either hate it or you don't. At the end of the day, it's blatant military propaganda, and it has a lot of adult themes in it, so I didn't form a connection to it. I mean, I'm fine with military propaganda, as long as it's entertaining, as long as it's good. My guide to propaganda, keep it fun, keep it cool, be funny, have a lot of colors, maybe make it a musical, or it could be like a whole war movie with a musical bit at the end. It's not like it mattered. Batman existed, and that was enough for me. On rewatch, I realized that this, along with like a whole bunch of other early MCU movies, were better in my memory. And I'm sure everyone can relate, you know? When you're younger, you don't really care for good, let alone any character building or like a plot that makes any logical sense. You're just there for one thing and one thing only. Yes. This movie in particular, I deem to be one of the good ones. Does that opinion hold up? No. Rewatching this movie made me rethink characters like Tony Stark and what they represented, and open them up for a lot of criticism. Sure, you can enjoy it like a regular action summer blockbuster movie, but where's the fun in that? Overall, this movie plays it really safe, which is understandable but frustrating nonetheless. It's the blueprint. It's the setting stone for what is yet to come. Since it's that, it's safe to say that a lot of the weak points in this movie carry on to a lot of the future entries. The plot is really weak, maybe too simple. The strongest aspect of this movie is the first act. Visually and story-wise, it does an okay job at setting up Tony Stark, the theme, and it has an active threat, you know, things that make a movie good. I am so glad and thankful to spend the first part of this movie on Tony actually being held in captivity, not just having it be like a whole flashback scenario, because it shows his ingenuity and his strength, and you actually kind of want to root for him, which is good because they don't really give him a likable trait or like an air of relatability for the most part, which I feel like if they made him more insufferable in the beginning, his redemption would have been way more satisfying. It would have made more sense for his character to truly change from his time in captivity, going from full-on annoying asshole to a semi-annoying asshole. But throughout the movie, he just ends up in this flat little gray area, and that's where he operates. And towards the end, he never really faces the repercussions of his past of profiting off war. It ends on a hopeful note. Like, yeah, now I can go fix the world, but it doesn't make every atrocity we see in the beginning any better. That blame is kind of shifted onto like the evil bad people and not Tony himself, even though he had a major part in it. That being said about the protagonist, you can imagine that every other character in this movie is just on a decline. Every other character is boring. Obadiah the villain is dumb. Pepper and Rhodes are there to serve Tony and wipe his ass and pat him on the back afterwards. None of them feel like individuals, and it's frustrating to watch. If you remove Tony from Pepper's character, you are left with absolutely nothing. If you remove Tony from Rhodes' character, you are left with what's that? Oh, also nothing. Now you could say that, oh, Pepper is an assistant. It's her job to serve the character, which is true, but that doesn't give her character any excuse to be devoid of personality. Her and Tony also have minimal chemistry, so like, at that point, what the fuck do you do? Now Rhodes doesn't work for him. He's a friend, and Tony treats him like shit. Now you would think that after Tony leaves him before the bomb, that his behavior would change. He'd actually, I don't know, stand up for himself. We would get some depth of judgment in Rhodes. Absolutely not. He is still the same spineless little kiss ass he was in the beginning. That's it. That's his character. With a story with a minimal scope, that shit matters. The characters matter. Circling back to Obadiah, this bitch. Now he has a motive, and it's valid. He was greedy for power, and he was ready to take down Tony to get it. Now his plan, dumb as You're telling me this rich old white man decided the best way to take down Tony Stark would be to make a deal with the people who held Tony captive and get a copycat suit made from them, which turned out to be lame, and he ended up dying because of it, instead of just hiring a hitman to kill Tony and covering it up? What? This movie is just so unrealistic. Because the threat is so lame, the middle portion of this movie just drags. There's no active action. There sure as hell aren't any engaging characters. There's nothing we want to see. But we do have a suit up scene. Now, I am a sucker for superhero origin movies. I love them so much. And my favorite aspect of that is seeing the full costume just on screen. Sometimes the movies get it really accurate, or they take a few creative liberties, just a little bit. Or in some cases, they ditch the entire costume and produce the most bland, uninspired shit. Sorry to all the designers out there. Now the Iron Man suit, I think, elevates the comic versions that I've seen and adapts it really well. Like, the one thing I'll say about this movie is props to whoever designed that whole mechanism of how the suit works, like how we get to see the internal view of the helmet. It just works so well. I love the colors, I like the design. It's a 9 out of 10 costume, and it's iconic. Overall, it does its job at setting Iron Man up, and there is entertainment value in it. 2 out of 5. Can't wait to see where they improve from here, because sky's the limit. My name is Natasha Romanoff, or as you may know me, Black Widow. Professional agent, certified badass, and a babysitter when necessary for the plot. Me and the boys have suspected Tony Stark to be dealing in some shady dealings. He's a new kid on the block, and we don't trust him quite yet. No white man should be able to hold that much power unchecked. So that's why I've tracked his location, and now I'm going undercover as his assistant to figure out what's going on, and to catch him in the act. Hi, you're supposed to be my assistant, right? Hi, I'm Nat Ali. Hi, Nat Ali. Can you let the people at Shady Corners know that I'm gonna be there an hour earlier to prepare for my set? That must be code for some illegal dealings. Also, do you know who that is? He's been staring at my window all day. No, he's just a random. Don't worry about him. We got this under control. Hopefully I can get him to leak some information. And I said, you and my ex-wife both. I don't get paid enough for this. I really don't. This is so unprofessional. I can't do this anymore. Hi, Tony. Who are you? Don't even worry about it. Can you, like, join the Avengers or whatever? I don't know. Can you ask me again in a minute? Hey, Iron Man. I don't like you and I'm gonna kill you. Ah, get away from me. Oh, not again. Can you, like, join the Avengers, please? Okay. Stay tuned for my next episode, coming out in 7 years. This movie. I saw this on TV around the time it came out, and I did not like it, and I still don't like it. 7, 8, however the old I was, I had taste. Now, the complaints for the first movie are basically the same complaints that I have with this movie. What? And there's more. There's more. Iron Man's character takes a huge backpedal, and it's frustrating to watch. The entire movie he spends whining about the weight of being Iron Man and the pressures of being in the red and gold and yellow iron suit and how it's affecting his personal life. But how am I, as a viewer, supposed to go, oh, I feel sorry for that man. I feel poor man has to deal with the highs and lows of being Iron Man, when I don't even get to see this man do anything meaningful as Iron Man? What? His entire arc in this movie is dependent on that, so it unravels any real connection here. They also introduce this other plot line about him dealing with the fact that the heart shrapnel thingies from the first movie are poisoning him, which has so much potential. I mean, you'd think they'd make the whole main focus of this movie about Iron Man having to deal with his own mortality and what his life would mean and what good he could leave in this world. That sounds like a good, logical starting point, right? Nope, it's just an excuse to upgrade armor. Oh, at least Pepper has some personality in this movie. I mean, hey, I'll take a win where I can get it. Okay, the romance aspect of this movie, miles better. Chemistry is way more developed, and it doesn't feel as awkward as it did in the first movie, which is, you know. And oh my god, they made Rhodes an interesting character? What? In this movie, he gets the War Machine suit and a sense of individuality, a spine, but don't get too excited now, because his character still heavily revolves around Tony Stark and his needs. Except now he has a little bit of an attitude. Plus, Plus, there's an actor switch, which helps. Then there's the new additions, like Black Widow. Instead of, oh, I don't know, giving one of the main members of the Avengers character development, because we sure as won't give her a movie until her character dies, why not just stick her in this movie to be Tony Stark's babysitter? Yeah, no, that's way better. Yeah, that's so much better than anything that could have been, and any ideas that anyone else had. She's here to babysit and kick ass and look hot, which, you know, good for her. And that's more than anything anyone else here is giving. The way we could have had a fun and entertaining Black Widow movie in, I don't know, maybe phase 2, if not phase 1, phase 2, or you know what, even phase 3. How throw Hawkeye in there and actually show us the Budapest mission. You know, the mission that they allude to in almost like every conversation they have with each other. But let's not focus on the would've, coulda, should've's, because we'd be here all day. Nick Fury's in this movie for the pretty obvious reasons. This movie serves as a catalyst for the Avengers, so you can imagine. And who's left? I think that's it. I don't think there's any more characters in this board. Okay. In the mega roster, and trust me, there is a mega roster of dumb MCU villains. This man has to be at least near the bottom at that list, close to the bottom. I hate him. He has such a dumb motive. He manages to replicate something like the arc reactor, which is a really strong energy core, I don't know, and decides to use it to make, oh, I don't know, not a suit of armor, not, you know, anything else, but he uses it to make electrical whips. What? He then decides to kill Iron Man in broad daylight and fails miserably, because it's not like he, I don't know, brought cannons from home or like armor. Nope, he just came out butt naked wearing whips. If I was him, that would have been my last straw. I would have handed my resignation in, handed in my MCU SAG card, and just left. Changed my name, flown somewhere else, you know. Because imagine being all, oh, I fear nothing. I'm a lot like the Joker. I can take Iron Man on 1v1 and eat his ass. And then not only getting your ass handed to you, but getting arrested? Are you not embarrassed? Oh, and then Justin Hammer. Pointless, dumb little boy. He tries to recruit Whiplash to make him an army of suits, and it's the most boring shit ever. Nothing happens. They just meet up like 3 times, and there's like an attempt at a joke there, and then boom, an army of robots. And you wanna know who wins? Because it's certainly not Bird Fucker. This movie was a chore. 1 out of 5. Hi, my name's Thor. I'm 1,493 years old, and I'm literally the god of thunder. And this is my life. I'm not gonna lie, this is quite stressful. I live in Asgard with my parents, me mum, me dad, Odin, and me brother Loki, the god of nothing. Ha! He's a sham. Hello, my name's Loki, and I'm the god of mischief. Did he really say that? It's not true. I have a really powerful hammer called Mjolnir.
Kai, it's Mjolnir.
That's what I said. Mjolnir.
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 That's literally what I'm saying.
It's your hammer, you should know.
Mjolnir.
Alright.
Whatever.
We'll fix it in post.
This is my hammer. Mjolnir. What? Where did it go? Literally, what's going on? You guys are so unprofessional. What? Don't look at me. I can't do this anymore. I can't. Someone get me some tea. I can't do this anymore. No. My father will hear about this. My father Odin sent me to Earth to learn responsibility or whatever, and it was literally really boring. He took my hammer away from me. It was the worst. I had to wear. I can't even talk about it. I met some friends, found myself a girlfriend. At least I think she's my girlfriend. We've never really talked. She kind of just hovers around. She's proper paying in it. I fought a giant transformer.
Cut.
What? I fought this giant robot. And now I'm like a huge celebrity. Life is good right now. Yeah. Alright, take this thing off me. I can't do this anymore. My sentiment with this movie begins in elementary school. I'm a very visual person, so I've always had a thing with marketing, logos, and posters. For me, that's like 80% of the draw to something. Plot, and then there's aesthetic. I'm very shallow when it comes to that. I will be judging a book by its cover. If a book cover is ugly, I don't care how good it is, I won't read it. One of my favorite franchises as a kid was Transformers, based solely on movie trailers. I hadn't seen a single movie or show about it. As soon as I saw that big blue bitch blow shit up, I knew that it would define me. Another reason I got into superheroes. I love superhero costumes. I love their unique cities. I love their respective aesthetics. I love world building and attention to detail, which is why I've always liked DC more, because they're more centered around distinct, unique identities. Each hero has their own very starkly different aesthetic and their own respective cities, like Batman, Gotham, Wonder Woman, that island, and then there's Marvel with New York. Like, don't get me wrong, I love New York as much as the next person who spent their entire middle school / high school wanting to move there. But what child would prefer the imaginary world of New York over Gotham? One with a stable life, maybe. The marketing for Thor was so dark and dingy, not in like a Dark Knight kind of way, in just it's so blue, I don't know what's going on kind of way. Like, I remember seeing lunchboxes and backpacks that were like half gray with this annoying looking white man on it. I did not give a fleeting about Thor. Now Batman you could put on cyanide and I would dive in headfirst. Back to the movie. I watched it a year after it came out and I did not like it. The only notable thing that stuck out to me was the "I'll have another," because as a kid that was the funniest shit ever. Like, get this, he drops the glass because he's not human. And I speak for the people who have seen it. It goes without saying, the plot is dumb as f***. When I was watching it, I wrote down, this is the longest half of a movie I have ever seen. I don't know what that means, but honestly, I feel that in my soul. I feel that pain. Thor, the character, is an insufferable, annoying, bratty little shit. The movie doesn't give you an ounce of a reason to root for him, like, whatsoever. He's told to be this really super powerful person, but he literally just swings his hammer around. That's it. He just throws his hammer, and then gets it back. Swing, throw. What? His entire arc is about redemption and for him to grow up, but it doesn't work. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. He remains the exact same character the entire movie, except at the end he's like in love with Natalie Portman because she's pretty. I don't know. They deadass don't even have a single meaningful conversation in the movie. If anything, it's them talking at each other instead of to each other. Jane is a terrible character. Her entire point in this movie is to be a beacon of hope and love and shining light for Thor. She has a career as a genius scientist, but all sense is thrown out the window just to be close to this deranged alien man who has abs. She suddenly becomes this bland non-character who just can speak in scientific terms, and it doesn't help that they have like zero chemistry, like at all. Every single scene with them is so fucking painful to watch. Thor just came down to earth. Jane makes a joke about crashing her car. He doesn't know what a fucking car is. Why is he laughing? What was funny about that, Thor? Answer quickly. It's like watching two extremely horny middle schoolers interact. It's awful. Hawkeye was introduced in this movie with like a quick cameo, which, okay, I doubt anyone was losing their shit over Hawkeye pointing an arrow at Thor. Okay, let's be positive for a moment. Let's radiate positivity. I honestly love the Thor, Loki, Odin dynamic. Like, that is some Succession, royal family drama shit that I would watch any day of the week over this. Odin is just a bland piece of shit father that just faints. He just yells and then does that a couple of times and then faints. And then he wakes up and then he faints again. And honestly, I don't even blame him. Loki's character is so bad in this movie. His shift from being this obedient, devoted brother to this morally ambiguous antagonist is just so sudden and unnatural. It's unnatural. The progression isn't balanced. It just happens. And I just feel like that speaks to how this movie is. Brash as fuck. The characters just make major decisions without having it marinate or be a conversation piece, like when Odin literally exiles Thor, his son, in the midst of two scenes. Speaking of terrible writing, the exposition in this movie is so... You know the rule, show don't tell. Well, yeah, this movie is like the opposite of that. Instead, it takes a step further and takes a steamy pile of diarrhea shit on the person who said that. The first half of this movie is entirely exposition, and yeah, you get why that would be. You're setting up like a mythical person in a mystical world. Like, it makes sense for Odin to explain the realms. Like, we get it. They try to be Lord of the Rings so bad with that opening narration, but the problem arises when it's not presented in a creative way. Characters just break into some random, really detailed explanation to something out of nowhere, but that's not where it stops. Jane and crew's entire purpose of this movie is to reiterate the first 15 minutes of this movie over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and it's thoroughly exhausting. And honestly, such a good screenwriting tip. Like, I don't know why no one else is doing it these days. Cinema is in shambles. What other wonky aspect about this movie am I forgetting? Don't shoot. I unironically love the Dutch angles. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. It adds so much needed character to this movie, and I appreciate it. Oscar winner Kenneth Branagh, y'all. I don't think you'll be too shocked if I say this. The ending makes no sense, and the emotional beats don't work because you have absolutely no reason to give a single about any of these characters. Thor breaking the bridge as some form of self-sacrifice. He's saving Asgard, but sacrificing ever getting to see Jane ever. Like, okay, you just met her a maximum of 2 days ago, and you've lived here a whole century. That means nothing to me as a viewer, because all I've seen of Thor and Jane is so, like, nothing. I wish nothing. I have sat here for the past 15 minutes talking nothing but utter shit about this movie. What do I like? I love the fish out of water scenes. I'm a whore for fish out of water scenes. I just wish they spent more time on Thor navigating Earth and having like little funny moments. Because if you're gonna have this like amazing world and not show it, and you're gonna show Earth instead, why not make it entertaining? Why not, you know, add more? I don't know. This is not my job. Like that whole hospital escape scene.
Another one.
I mean, does it lose its funny after the first watch? Yeah, but it's a cute inclusion. I would rather have that than... The costumes in this movie are oddly not horrible. I like Thor's costume. It's so much more pronounced. His cape is really stiff, a lot like his acting. I love the scene where Odin not only takes away Thor's powers and his hammer, but his armor as well. And it turns out that Thor is just wearing like a shirt underneath, like an Under Armour shirt. Get it? Under Armour. 1 out of 5. And honestly, that's generous. Can't wait to see where they go from here with this franchise, because the only way to go is up. Right? Right? Hey y'all, my name's Steve, and here's a PowerPoint presentation about why you should let me join the army. Reason one, I'm like really good at everything. Reason two, you'll never ever find someone like me. Someone who will work as hard as me. Someone who will put their life and soul into their work as me. I put the ass in asset, look at the material. Please, look at the material. Pretty please with a cherry on where I won't make you regret. I really didn't want to have to pull this one out. I triple dog dare you to let me join the army. He looks like a good candidate to inject with the super serum, but he's unqualified. I know, but he triple dog dared us. What do you want us to do? Okay, it's time to inject him with the super serum. I am so ready. I will not disappoint you. Did you do it yet? Is it work? Where am I? Don't even worry about it. Do you want to like join the Avengers or whatever? What is that, a band? Sometimes we have to pay the bills somehow. Wait a minute. Wasn't I supposed to be injected with that super serum thing? What's that over there? Here's something I never expected to say. Captain America the First Avenger is actually pretty good. I watched it for the first time in this experience, and I was shocked. After all the shit that I talked about it, for it to be good? What? I feel like there's a lesson in here somewhere. I just can't put my finger on it. The plot flows well throughout, sometimes bordering on one-noted, but still entertaining. The visual style of this movie is so nostalgic. It's campy, it's fun. The biggest strength of this movie is for once, the characters. Steve Rodgers is a really well-developed character. From the beginning to the end, we see his character evolve and ultimately get to do what he always wanted. I like that they establish his morals as not tied or aligned to a specific government, regardless of his name being Captain America. For him, it's good versus bad, which is great because it opens the rest of the series to explore the nuances of that. The moniker of Captain America being just a vessel for Steve's ambition, and pretty soon a hindrance. We're actually shown him fighting for the right thing and being selfless, instead of being told, oh, here's this do-goody man. Oh, he's so great and amazing, and just, he's so selfless, and just, he's so amazing and really good, and he's like the captain of being really good and amazing. And I'm so glad they spend time on those aspects. Oh my god, is that Stanley Tucci? Because when he finally does get his powers, it it feels satisfying. We don't see him go through some lazy ego boost or moral plunder that's just tacked on there. They don't affect his beliefs or morals. He's the same exact selfless person, except now he has the ability to do the things he couldn't before. And they nail that aspect right on the head. Even when he's navigating life, love, whatever it is, he's still that frail guy inside, even though he's f***ing Chris Evans. Peggy's character is good too. She has a distinct personality and motive, and it's executed somewhat well. I just wish they had given her a separate plot line that wasn't completely dependent on Steve. I like her character. I wish we would have seen more of her. Their dynamic is surprisingly cute, and I love them. My camera didn't die, and this is not a Hi everyone, welcome to the Avengers Roundtable. There's been a rise in crime and aliens and stuff. Like, what's going on? Let's start with you, Hawkeye. Okay, Thor, what about you? Hi, my name is Thor. I'm literally going to stand out. We know. What? Crime? Always. Steve. Hi everyone. Basically, I got a PowerPoint presentation about the steps we all need to take as a society to fix. Okay, goody two shoes. What? Can I get some Nando's? Bruce, why don't you tell us about your ideas or whatever? What Tony said. He literally didn't say anything. Can I get some Nando's? See, now, I actually got a few ideas that I'd like to share with y'all. Nando's. No, of course not. It's proper stressing me out. Yeah, I actually think that we should get along and sing Kumbaya. Now, would you stop interrupting me before I get my grits panned? Hi everyone, my name's Thor. I'm literally all the sun diet. I'm not gonna lie, I'm acting across the face. Now, they're all fighting about something. Boys, settle down. Natasha, we haven't heard from you at all. Why don't you tell us about some of your ideas or whatever? Coming from a background where I have extensive training. Wow, thank you so much for sharing. This is truly Hawkeye, anything to add? I hate being in America. Can't do this anymore. Please send me home. Thank you. One of the main highlights of this experience was getting to experience the Avengers again in order. Even though I've seen it a couple of times, I was all giddy and shit, pretending like I didn't know what was gonna happen next. Don't shoot. I remember wanting to watch X-Men First Class more than the Avengers. I am aware that First Class came out a year before Avengers, but I didn't know it existed. It was new. It was new to me. I watched the Avengers after that. I remember thinking it was okay. I sound so f***ing pretentious. Maybe I was ahead of my time. I just thought it was okay. One thing about child me, I hated the establishment and anything to do with the establishment. And this movie is heavy on the government part for like the entire second act. I also didn't like the bright quippy energy. I was more in my like, ugh, broody darkness. I love darkness phase of my life. The Dark Knight was my favorite movie of all time. So like, what do you expect? Let me get one thing out of the way. The f***ing quips. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god. One of, if not the worst part of this movie and the MCU in general, the f***ing quips. I get the fact that it's a summer action blockbuster. That doesn't give you an excuse to just write shit material. You can be funny without resorting to like cheap humor. There's a way to write humor that is accessible to everyone and make it funny. I don't know. Do your job better. I don't know. The quips are like what people think SNL is every 2 years. Every goddamn line in this movie is a one-liner. And it holds the characters back from feeling like an actual team. The dynamics don't feel natural because it feels like everyone is just talking at each other. Not to mention the fact that they are so painfully annoying and unfunny. I guess some of them you might find funny the first time, right? Haha. Trailer lines, whatever. But I try not to refer to things as cringy because I feel like that word in and of itself is annoying and overused, but I wouldn't be lying when I say my entire body cringes every single time one of these characters speak. I have a plan. Attack. I have a gun in my New Yorker tote. Get the fuck away from me. Maybe this is just me being hateful. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky. I'm sure there are people out there who enjoy the quips and laugh every single time. I'm not invalidating your life choices. I'm just saying that you are wrong. One thing's for certain, Joss Whedon will pay for his crimes. The characters are all at their best so far, and they all get to shine in an environment that isn't bogged down by having to introduce and establish every single character. We already know Iron Man. Iron Man. We know Iron Man, we know Captain America, and the Hulk, I guess. I wouldn't know. They sure as hell treat him like one, instead of, I don't know, someone who got a whole feature film made about them. We've seen some of both Black Widow and Hawkeye, and we already know Loki. So, you know, this movie does a great job at being friendly for people who wouldn't have kept up with the past 5 movies, which is one of its biggest selling points. They nailed the comic book aspect of each character feeling like they belong in the story without needing tons and tons of backstory. I mean, would I have liked a Black Widow movie in phase 1? Yeah, but is she still a functioning character regardless? Sure. Okay, maybe I didn't make the point I was trying to make, but you know, you get the point. The progression of Cap's character from the first movie to here is seamless, and for the most part, they capture his character perfectly. I mean, he's a hard character to fuck up, but they nailed his dynamic with the other Avengers. Iron Man is Iron Man. I love how his egotistical confidence clashes with the other characters, especially Cap, and how he bonds with Bruce Banner, and they have that whole, you know, homoerotic science thing. They don't hold back with his character, and he shines in that environment. When I say I wanted him to be like full snarky asshole in the first movie, this is kind of what I meant. Thor still feels a little insufferable. Maybe it's the fact that he's just a shittily written character, but they do a good job of incorporating him. He feels tolerable in this movie thanks to the comedic atmosphere. Black Widow is a huge improvement from her time in Iron Man 2, but she's still here to babysit. I just wish they gave her more screen time beyond the I've got red on my ledger shit. She still feels like a reactionary character though. I wonder why. Bruce Banner is the character with the biggest shift, most notably the recast. Edward Norton was an alright Bruce Banner, but Mark Ruffalo made the character his own in whatever little liberty he had. I'm glad they treat Bruce like a somewhat new character, but I wish they took some of the time that they spend on him and gave that to, oh, I don't know, a character who didn't have a full feature film about them. And then Hawkeye. Anyways, he's a plot device and he just shoots arrows. Also, did they try to create a love triangle between Cap, Nat, and Clint? I hope the not. I hope that was just me being extra, cause no. Loki shines. He's not held back by the dumb character progression in Thor. He just gets to be shitty, and it's fun and it's great. The middle part of this movie drags bad. I think spending that entire portion creating inner conflict before we ever get to see the Avengers actually be a team was really ineffective. I think showing the Avengers in action a little bit more before the conflict would have worked better, maintaining the action throughout and continuing the plot. Not doing so made the team conflict feel so off. That and the dialogue combined, I mean, it just doesn't help. It just doesn't help that they sound like they're spitting out Vine references at each other. They're not even talking to each other. Like, who the fuck talks like that? They feel more like co-workers than like an actual unit. But once the action does pick up, it works so good. I love how they carrier crash scene and how they utilize everyone's problem-solving skills. Phil Coulson's death doesn't really work as a catalyst, at least, for the team to unite. I mean, I'm sure it was sad the first time, but on rewatch you realize you have absolutely no reason to care about this character. Plus, I know he doesn't die, so what the fuck is that about? That was the biggest scam ever. Haven't seen or will see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I hate the reverse death trope, and they utilize it so much in this universe. Now the last third of this movie, really good. I wish they showcased the Chitauri, the aliens, in battle beforehand, so they actually felt like something more than a disposable faceless threat. The battle is great, and I mean great. I'm giving this movie praise. Doesn't happen often. The last act of this movie is its saving grace. I love how you get to watch the characters just bounce off each other, literally and, you know, metaphysically. I don't know. The combo attacks are like the highlight. Like that one long take scene that just goes from hero to hero. Like that shit. That's what makes movies like this great. It's truly one of the greatest moments in cinematic movie history. There's so much personality and flair that jumps out during those scenes, and I wish it was able to carry that throughout the movie instead of just getting an end. Watching it, I wrote, it feels like a movie you'd wake up disoriented to, playing on your TV from a midday nap. That, and it feels like a really high budget early 2000s movie with all the camera angles and like weird. I really like the color grading and just the look and feel of it all, and the soundtrack is probably the only memorable piece of music in the entire MCU. I mean, the Avengers theme, f***ing iconic. All in all, a classic, has flaws, of course, but also has a ton of heart. 3.5 out of 5.
Hi, my name's Aldrich Killian, and these are my balls.
Stop. Uh-oh. That sound must mean dinner time.
I fucking love this movie. The first MCU movie I saw in theaters, I was so beyond hyped for this movie, and it did not disappoint. I honestly thought that the entire world was on the same page about this movie as me, until I hear everyone's been talking shit about this movie. What's that about? Did mommy not love you enough? How does it feel to be the death of any life in any room ever? No, like, let's talk. Genuinely one of the best MCU movies and one of the most original superhero movies I've seen. Is it perfect? You're asking the wrong questions here. Does this movie deliver on its promise of an engaging villain? No. Does it have really dumb moments? But do we get to see the best Tony Stark storyline in the MCU? Yeah, I wish this movie wasn't tied down by the confines of a summer action blockbuster, so we could have gotten a true exploration of Tony's mental health. Seeing Tony battling with and trying to overcome his anxiety humanizes him in a way that the other two movies fail to do, where Iron Man makes almost no effort into making Tony a character to root for, and Iron Man 2 makes him insufferable. This movie puts the main focus on Tony's arc and having to deal with the consequences of his actions in the past. Tony using making Iron Man suits as a distraction from his problems, only for him to destroy them all at the end. Genius. Taking the suit away from Tony was the best, smartest decision that has ever been made, ever. Because we really get to see Tony, the person, navigate the world with just his wit. And it also makes for some really, really creative action moments. The first act suffers from not having a clear direction. The fake Mandarin threat is weak, and Tony instantly making it personal feels off. But when it picks up, it picks up. The action in this movie is genuinely entertaining. The villain, well, the real villain of the story, surprise, surprise, is the weakest link. What? Which is a shame, because the concept of the Extremis serum seems so interesting. I just wish they decided not to do the whole, like, fake Mandarin twist and instead set Adrian up from the beginning, because that little moment that he does get, it doesn't really work, and it doesn't justify his actions. I mean, he was being annoying, so I don't know. And this subtlety doesn't work, because you kind of know he's gonna be a bad guy. It's this limbo between underdeveloped and he's predictable. Because of how minimal the establishing moment is, Maya's entire purpose also falls apart. I mean, her entire motive is spite and revenge based on those 5 minutes that we get. Or they could have just made the Mandarin an actual threat and cast, I don't know, not a bald white man. Pepper is the best she's been in this entire series, which isn't saying a lot, but I like her conflict with Tony in this movie. The kid is annoying. I'm sorry, I don't know what you want me to say. Marvel's last priority in casting a child actor is checking the acting part. The dialogue is witty and fun, and the humor is actually humorous. Thank God. I'm not going to talk too much about this one, even though I've spent 5 minutes talking about it. Just take that stick out of your ass and go watch it. 4 out of 5. Wow, it looks like we're on the right path with these movies. Wow. You know what? I can't wait to see what they do next. Hi, my name's Thor. I'm literally God of Thunder, and I'm back by popular demand. Alright, let's see. Me mom died.
Thor, come quick. Your mom is dying.
Me bruv died. He said that. That's not even funny. I swear on my mum's life, I'm not even dead. My girlfriend almost died. But now they got Nando's on set, so I'm good. Why do you hate me? What have I ever done to you? This movie is Moving on. Alright, fuck it. Let's do it. I watched this movie around the time it came out. Hated it then, and I still hate it now. This movie is so... what's the word? Bad. I don't think it's much of a shock that a lot of the same complaints I had with the first one still carry over. Thor is just there. Bland, boring, flat. Jane's entire character is a mess. She gets more of a spotlight in this one, and even then it's like... she gets hit by the ether. I gotta keep up as a leader. And becomes a human nuclear bomb. And her only reaction is, oh, you guys don't wear pants here? That's weird. Thor takes her to Asgard, and we get more of a focus on Asgard and the space. This time, thank God, Thor takes her to Asgard, and she just completely adjusts and is having the time of her life on this foreign space dimension realm, whatever the fuck. Like, is this the same Jane that we know? Wait. Yeah, pretty much. I don't even think I have to mention the fact that her and Thor still have zero chemistry. What? At least not the kind that you build 2 movies over. They feel more like a summer camp fling than a romantic, like, saga. Malekith is... boring. It's a shocker that I even remembered his name. The only reason I remember it because I wrote it down. The threat is boring, and he just talks and has zero personality. At this point, Marvel just needs to start assigning their villains randomly generated numbers, because that would actually be helpful in remembering them, you know? Loki is the only tolerable part of this movie, and even then he's just there. Thor's mom's death has absolutely no impact on me as a viewer, and in the story, beyond like the 10 minutes surrounding her death, Odin is a bitch. 1 out of 5. Another, please. Hey bestie, the government is lying to you. Watch this super convenient footage I found on one of my missions. Now I gotta go. I have to do reshoots on my new film. Okay, it's time to inject him with the super serum. I am so ready, I will not disappoint you. Did you do it yet? Is it work? Wait, what's going on? I don't know, you didn't test the serum? We couldn't. Oh my god, we killed him, oh my god. If he ever wakes up and gets a chance to tell the world we as an organization could be ruined, he can never know he was injected. Now wait a minute, have you been lying to me? No, I thought you were my friend. That's not... I even made you grits, Steve. This whole time, you've been lying to me. Yes. They did. It wasn't me. Where? He can never know he was injected. No one finds out about this, okay? 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 Where am I? Don't even worry about it. Do you want to like join the Avengers, whatever? Now, as I mentioned before, I hadn't fully seen this movie before, and even like the clips and pieces I had seen, I just forgot the context too. So this was like a full first experience, and I'm mad that I hadn't seen this before, because this is actually a really fun movie. I love the theme of the Cap trilogy being like war and spy thrillers. I mean, it's cute. I like the camera work in this movie. It carries the darker tone well. It's more of like a government thriller. Despite that, the shaky cam is really nauseating at times, and it's such an uninteresting way to shoot like fast-paced action scenes. Cap's arc in this movie is really impactful. You get to see this man who has his trust and what he stands for get tested. They try to explore his psyche after being in the ice for like whatever amount of years, which kind of feels lackluster. Like they could have pushed the bound of that a little bit more and shown some emotional range for the character, or maybe I'm expecting too much. Black Widow is at her absolute best here. Who'd have thunk? Giving her more characterization would have, I don't know, made her a good character. What? Her motive is definitely there, and she actually has a stake in the plot. Is it about her red ledger that we keep hearing about but never get to see? Yes, at least it's something. Her and Cap's chemistry is really good, and it shines through and it makes the entire experience more enjoyable. Their dynamic feels natural, and their interactions are entertaining to watch. The Falcon is a neat little inclusion, and he has his little moment every 30 minutes and then dips. He's not the most engaging character, but you can see the potential. Plus, it's nice to see Cap have his little friend group. Sharon is an inclusion. I just wish that she would have gotten more screen time to expand on her character. The character that I do actually have a problem with is the second titular character, the Winter Soldier. For starters, we didn't really see much importance given to Cap and Bucky's friendship. It just seemed really casual. Even with his death, we don't get to see Cap mourn or have a reaction that makes you feel like the loss of a childhood friend, and we don't really get to know him as a character till the midpoint. Not to mention have an attachment. This gets even worse that the next movie is centered around their friendship, even more so than this one. He's not really much of a focus, which is odd because he's a titular character, but if I'm being honest, it still works regardless of whether he's the most interesting character in the movie. The antagonist, Shield Hydra, is what makes this movie so great. It's not some maniacal, over-the-top villain. It's more so just an idea. Corruption, tackled in MCU fashion. The pacing is great and it maintains the action throughout. It's tonally consistent and the emotional beats work really well. Annoyed I hadn't watched it earlier. 3.5 out of 5. I wonder what commercially successful franchise Marvel is gonna make a continuation out of next. You guys, we have to save the galaxy. You guys, we have to save the galaxy. Let's go, come on. Let's go. We gotta save the galaxy, come on. His condition is getting worse. Now, my experience with this movie is different, okay? I watched it a while after it came out, and I did not like it. I, actually did not like it. I don't think I even finished watching it the first time I watched it. I think I stopped watching after that prison escape scene. Also, now that I'm thinking back on it, I think I didn't like it because my older sister said she didn't like it, and God forbid I have a different opinion. But after the second or third rewatch, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is actually really good. Now, you may be like, well, if you didn't like it, why did you watch it 3 times? Mind your damn business. Anyways, I was like, wow, I really like this movie. In fact, this might be my favorite MCU movie. And even though it's not my favorite anymore, I still really love this movie. Take a sip of water every time you hear me say movie. You will have clear skin by the end. It's so refreshing and unique, and thank God, it does not take place on Earth. The characters are all great except for Ronan, surprise surprise, which I'll get to in a minute. They're all set up and given, like, you know, their unique qualities, and most importantly, they work as a team. They work as a team. Gamora is a standout for me. I love her character in this entire series. She's my favorite. I love her progression, and I'm just gonna ignore Infinity War. That never happened. I love how I've gotten to the point where I'm applauding these movies for like fulfilling basic film and storytelling rules. Good for you. This movie is so creative to its core, and it flips so many typical elements on their heads. Thanks to the unique settings, we get so many beautiful shots, and let me just say, I love the scenery and cinematography in this movie. Watching it, you can just feel the love and care that went into every aspect of it. The music is so integral to the story. It's not just an afterthought, and it's woven in really creatively. I mean, the opening, the fucking boss fight, I mean, I'll get to that too in a moment. The plot isn't super unique, but it feels creative enough where it doesn't feel redundant and it doesn't feel derivative. It has great pacing, and there's never really a dull moment. The script is witty and hilarious, and when I say hilarious, I mean I actually laughed out loud several times during this movie. This movie does such a good job of developing its oddball group of characters, kind of forgets the antagonist, and unfortunately, in this case, it's Ronan. This man, alien bitch, is just another in the group of forgettable, replaceable villains who are as interesting as me on opposite day. Get it? Because I'm like really interesting, and they're not. There's not much more to say about him that I haven't spent the past whatever the minutes. Like, say what you want about him, at least he's not like utterly life-drainingly boring. Screw him. Let's not focus on him. Let's focus on every other aspect of this movie. It's very dear to me. No, look away. Look at me. The action is enjoyably good for the most part. I mean, that entire Yondu kill streak scene is like the coolest thing ever, and I love the creative use of the ships in the last battle. Speaking of battles, the dance battle, just so creative, and it's true to the characters. Instead of like a one-on-one gun match or some shit, it's so refreshing. I'm so happy that it's here, because every other movie, not the same. Woo. Thank God for James Gunn in the MCU. Also, there's just one little tiny little thing that I can't ignore. This door design, I mean, this is the dumbest door I have ever seen, like, ever. It, like, closes from the middle first, and then from the sides. I mean, like, anyone could just slip through the side. Why even do that? Like, it just takes longer. It doesn't even look cool. This movie is just out there. It is so fucking out there. This movie is wacky, it's crazy, and it took risks, and most importantly, it works. 10 out of 10. I love it. 5 out of 5. Argue with the wall. Is that it? Is that it? Did I make it out? Now that we've gotten past the trenches of these movies, it's gonna be a lot easier to get through this, hopefully. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed any part of this, and if you did, let me know in the comments. If you notice something that I left out, you can also put that in the comments. Let me know your own thoughts about this portion of the MCU. Let me know if you want to see a part 2. Let me know if you want me to continue this series. I'd love to read your comments, as long as they're civil. If you are hostile, I will match your hostility. If you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe, share, like, and comment. It helps a lot. You can follow me on my socials in the description below, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, whatever, whenever, wherever, whenever. If you're watching this and it has uploaded, let me know. Bye. Bye. Enjoy your day. I don't know what to say. Bye. It's not just an after. Let's try that again. I have a suspicion that was like terrible. And anything afterwards, it's just a downward spiral. I'm probably gonna look butt fucking ugly in this. Well, whatever. When do I not? Never. Okay. I won't spoil the movie. Where am I? Oh Lord. But at least he got none. My life. Black Widow. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Started out, but you know, he's the new kid on block, and we need to show him how to what, huh? This movie serves as the Panasonic TVs that like 90 kids. Really? I can't. Okay. Years later. At the end of the day, it's blatant. At the end of the day, I met some friends, found myself a girlfriend. Ew. My sentiment with this movie. What's going on? What's going on? Oh Lord, what's going on? It's not. At the end of the day, it's blatant military on rewatch. Okay, since it's about this, my father will hear about this. Towards the end, he never really faces the true repercussions. They're dynamic. Don't shoot. That's not even. No matter what I do, I can't get rid of him. Cut you off right there. Has some. This movie serves as a cat. This movie serves cats. The other day, I walked in on my cellmate on one of my favorite franchises is some randomly really detailed stops. But at least they got Nando's on set. I try not to refer to things. I try not to refer to things as cringy. I wouldn't be lying. I don't know. Woo! Mark Ruffalo. The progression of cab. What? I've got lead. I think. Jesus fucking Christ! Can I just get to one take? Hello, my name's Loki. I'm literally going to stand out now. It's not true. It's not true. It's not. What? What the fuck? Can I just get through one fucking sentence without stuttering? Okay, that's actually kind of funny. An engaging willing for fulfilling. God, this is taking so much out of me. And that's a wrap on low-key. That was low-key kind of good. Huh.